HER Reconnected Podcast, embracing the heart of the woman in your reflection. I'm your host, Lynette Marie, so let's get going. Hey guys, it's Lynette Marie, your host here at HER Reconnected Podcast. I am a best-selling author, speaker, and your confidence strategist. My ultimate goal and purpose is to help women to heal and reconnect with the woman in the mirror so she can show up boldly and confidently in her life and in her business. If that sounds like something that you're interested in and you want to hear from some other amazing women, this is the place for you. Visit my show notes page at herreconnectedpodcast.com. You can leave your voicemail, leave an email. Let me hear your thoughts because your voice matters. Alrighty, so let's get started with today's episode. Hey guys, it's Lynette Marie here. Thank you so much for joining me today. This episode will be just a little bit different. When I decided to create another podcast, one of the things that was important to me is to be authentic in what I say and be authentic in how I show up, be authentic with every woman that will hear my voice. And so today is one of those days where I had to push myself to come to the mic, push record, because regardless of how I feel, I'm held accountable for what God called me to do. And so I want to ask you, do you ever have those days where you're just not okay? What do you do when those days come? That no matter what you've done and how you've encouraged yourself and helped others, there are those moments when you are just not okay. Do you put on the perfect answer? You know, the answer that when someone asks you if you're okay and you're not, you simply say, "Girl, I'm good. How are you?" But have you found that place of safety where you can say, "Sis, I'm not okay today. I'll be okay, but I'm not okay today"? Where have you found that safe place to lay your head, be authentic in your answer, own your feelings, and be okay? What I've discovered for myself is that sometimes, and I learned this years ago when I wrote my second book, is that sometimes it's okay to not be okay so you can get to okay. No one can tell you how long to stay in that place of not being okay. But I know that there are times when we just need to give ourselves permission to be in that moment, address whatever is coming up, because we know that if we don't deal with it now, it will come back up again. And you know something? It's all good. Because what I've discovered for myself, and maybe you've discovered this too, is that when I encourage someone else, it gets me out of my feelings and it gets me out of my head, gets me out of my thoughts. And that's what it's about. Being honest with where you are, being willing to encourage someone else when you can, and be willing to walk out of that moment. There is a choice to own your feelings. There is a choice to allow yourself to feel. And there is a choice to know when it's time for you to walk out of those feelings and step back into your power. Have you ever thought that your power is in you and you have the opportunity to step into it and step out of it at any given time? That's an aha moment for a lot of people. The experiences that you've endured, they may tell you, you're not strong. You can't get through this. Oh, I thought you said you had grown. I thought you evolved. But look at you. But when you step into your inner power and remind yourself, yes, I went through that and here I am. Yes, I felt that. Sometimes I still feel that, but here I am. I believe that for so many women, we have become accustomed to giving the world what the world expects from us at any given moment. And by doing that, we have denied our true self. What are you willing to do to own your true self? You see, when you look in the mirror, there is nobody else there physically, but there can be someone there within your mind and your emotions from the past that tell you you're not enough. That tells you, I told you you couldn't do it. That tells you, I told you they didn't want you. You're not enough. You'll never make it. And the conversation goes on and on and on. And yet, when you remember that your power is within you and you choose to own it and step into it, your whole moment changes. You see, the voices of the past are only as loud as you allow them to be. They come back at these moments when it's not good, when you're already upset or sad about something. They rise up until you silence them. You silence them by giving yourself permission to feel what you're feeling, own what you're feeling, speak to that voice that's speaking to you if it's not empowering and encouraging you, and choose to step out of it despite what you feel and what you're thinking. Each time you do that, your power becomes stronger. Your voice becomes stronger. You remind yourself of who you are, regardless of what you felt a few moments ago and what you've gone through. So yes, there are those moments, those days when you're just not okay. And that's okay. But embracing the woman in the mirror requires that you are authentic with you. Your good, your not so good, your flaws, your perceived failures. And you say, okay, that happened. This happened. I felt that. Now what do I do? Because we are human beings and every day is not going to be lollipops and gumdrops. Oh my God, if it could be. But have you realized that each time you go through those low moments and you choose to get up, you feel stronger and taller each time? Sometimes we look back and you think, had I not gone through that, I would not be the woman that I am. Had I not left that, I would not be the woman that I am. That's resting in your safe, authentic space. Not being concerned with the judgment of others, and surely don't judge yourself. And I believe that many women judge themselves because they've been told and made to feel that they have to show up in a certain manner to be accepted and validated by others. But giving yourself permission in that moment to not be okay so you can get to be okay, you take back your power. You take back control. You take it out of the hands of the people that you gave it to, whether you knew it or not. And you say, this is my life. This is my heart. This is my truth. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not telling you to be a victim. I'm not telling you to have woe is me every second and that be okay. No, I'm not giving you permission for that. Healthy emotions comes by identifying the emotion, taking ownership of it, identifying the source of it, working through it, and coming out on the other side of it, not making excuses for it. How does that feel? How does that feel to your soul? When you understand you don't have to be a victim to what you feel, nor what you have gone through. There is a time for all things. There's a time to feel. There's a time to heal. There's a time to acknowledge. There's a time to grow, evolve, become. You get to identify what stage you're in. I have learned along the way through my journey that when depression gripped me very strong, primarily it was because I did not know how to voice my pain. I needed someone to give me permission to speak my pain. And because no one did, I turned it inward. Depression is anger turned inward. Depression is the power of your voice being muzzled. And yet, that is the very thing that God has called me to do. When I share my journey, I used to ask God, why do I have to tell my business? This is my business. That's embarrassing. And I remember he told me, it's my business, and someone needs to hear what I've done in your life so that they realize what I can do in theirs. He gave me the ministry and the position to speak. The more that I spoke, the more that I speak, the more powerful I become. The more I deny the muzzle on my voice because of my emotions, the more powerful I become. What is it that you need to speak to you? That within your mind and within yourself, you feel that if you say this, if you tell your story, if you speak up about your emotions, you're going to be judged. And you know something? You may well have that to happen. But what about it? If speaking out of your mouth, your truth, your authenticity is going to set not only you free, but whoever is in hearing range of your story, are you willing to go through with it? Are you willing to do it for yourself? It may be uncomfortable. It may look stupid. It may sound horrible. But on the other side of that, you gain your power. You gain something you may have never thought that you could have. Freedom. Do you know that you are worthy of freedom? You've always been worthy of freedom, regardless of anybody giving you permission. When you speak, even when you're hurting, it frees you. When you speak, even when you don't think anyone will listen, it frees you. When you speak, even when you're not okay, it frees you. So before I go, here's what I want you to do. I want you to speak, whether it's writing or literally speaking or sharing with someone that you know that you can trust, who has shown you you can trust them. I want you to use your permission, to give yourself permission to speak. Speaking is freedom. It's the silence that's destroying so many in this world. They've turned their voices inward and it's been muzzled. Is that you? They've denied who they are and tried to put on airs for those around them to be accepted. Is that you? Have you told yourself so many times that you're okay that you can't really identify when you're not okay? Is that you? If you were needing someone to give you permission to tell your story, to walk out of being a victim and walk into the power that's inside of you, permission granted. You heal your heart when you get real with that woman looking back at you in the mirror. She has a story. She has experiences. She has wisdom. She has favor. She has courage. She has bravery. Yes, you. It's all you. So if this episode finds you today not okay, I want you to give yourself permission to go through that moment so you can be okay. Thank you so much for listening today. Please visit my show notes page at HER Reconnected Podcast.com. Leave me a message. There's an area where you can leave a 90-second voicemail, send me an email, or leave a message on the show notes and let me know how this podcast episode has impacted you today. I pushed through, and I know that you can too. If you're not in a not okay place today, when it happens, come back to this episode and be encouraged. And know that it's okay where you are, but it doesn't have to stay there. All right? God bless you, and I'll see you next week.